Scary telling.
I met Lisa at a coffee shop downtown. She was waiting in line ahead of me, and I couldn't help but notice her beautiful long hair and deep, wide eyes. She smiled at me when she ordered, and I felt a flutter in my chest. I introduced myself, and we hit it off immediately. We exchanged numbers and started dating a few weeks later. Lisa was so beautiful. She was tall, skinny, with long shiny hair and skin as soft as silk. I couldn't believe she was with me. I loved her so much that I found myself just staring at her while she slept. I felt like I had to protect her from the world, from all the guys who would be after her. It started with me offering to walk her home from class. She had evening college courses and would sometimes get home late at night. I didn't want her walking home alone in the dark. She thanked me for my concern, and I felt like I was doing the right thing. Soon, I started showing up at her work unannounced. She was a bartender at a restaurant and worked long hours. I would often join her during her shift just to keep guys from being too forward with her. She said she didn't need me to do that, but I always knew she was relieved when I'd step in. I could see it in her eyes. I started to feel like I needed to know where she was all the time. I asked her to share her phone GPS with me so I could keep an eye on her when I wasn't there. She agreed, but eventually, she turned off the GPS when she was at work or in class, saying I already knew where she was and everything would be fine. But I wasn't fine. I started getting so stressed out that I couldn't help but drug her and implant a tiny tracking chip under her hair. I took her out one night and bought her so many drinks she got smashed. I'm not proud of what I did, but I couldn't help it. I needed to know where she was at all times. When Lisa found out what I did, she was understandably upset. I tried to explain that I was just trying to protect her, but she told me that she didn't need me to protect her and that she needed some space. I was devastated, but I knew I had to give her what she wanted. Looking back, I can see that my behavior was possessive and controlling. I thought I was being a good boyfriend by protecting her, but I was really just trying to control her every move. I hope that someday she can forgive me, but for now, I know that I need to work on myself and my own issues before I can be in a healthy relationship again. After Lisa found out that I had implanted a tracking chip under her hair, she was understandably upset. She told me that she needed space and that she didn't want to see me for a while. I was devastated. I couldn't believe that I had jeopardized our relationship in this way. I felt like I had ruined everything. But despite Lisa's request for space, I couldn't stop thinking about her. I felt like I needed to know where she was and what she was doing all the time. So, I started to rely even more on the tracking chip I had implanted under her hair. I would check the GPS on my phone constantly, making sure she was where she was supposed to be. At first, Lisa didn't suspect anything. She thought that I had stopped tracking her after our fight. But I couldn't help myself. I felt like I was losing control of the situation, and the only way to get it back was to keep tabs on her every move. I started to show up at her work more frequently, but this time I would stay hidden in the corner, watching her from a distance. I didn't want her to know that I was there, but I couldn't help myself. I had to make sure that she was safe. Eventually, Lisa started to notice that something was off. She would catch me staring at her from across the room or following her to her car after work. She confronted me about it, but I told her that I was just worried about her safety. I could see that she was starting to get frustrated with me, but I couldn't help myself. I was addicted to the control I felt when I knew where she was at all times. Things started to spiral out of control when Lisa started making plans with her friends without telling me. I would see her location on my phone and notice that she was at a bar or a party with people I didn't know. I couldn't stand the thought of her being around guys who might hit on her or try to take advantage of her. So, I would show up at these events uninvited, hoping to keep her safe from harm. But Lisa was starting to get fed up with my behavior. She told me that I was suffocating her, that I didn't trust her, and that she needed space. I knew that she was right, but I couldn't help myself. I was addicted to the control that came with tracking her every move. Looking back, I know that my behavior was creepy and disturbing. I thought that I was just trying to protect Lisa, but in reality, I was just trying to control her. I needed to learn how to trust her and give her the space she deserved if I wanted to salvage our relationship. But by the time I realized that, it was already too late. After Lisa told me that she needed space, I knew that I had to give it to her. But it was so hard. I was addicted to the control I felt while I knew where she was at all times. I would check the GPS on my phone constantly, just to make sure that she was okay. As time went on, Lisa started to move on with her life. She started going out more with her friends and even started seeing someone new. I was jealous, but I knew that I couldn't do anything about it. I had already messed things up with her. But as Lisa's new relationship started to get more serious, I started to spiral out of control. I would show up at the bar or restaurant where she was with her new boyfriend, hoping to make him feel uncomfortable and drive him away. I knew that I was being irrational, but I couldn't help myself. I was obsessed with Lisa and I didn't want to lose her. One night, I saw Lisa and her new boyfriend walking down the street together. They looked happy, and my heart sank. I felt like I was losing her for good. But then, I noticed something strange. Lisa's GPS tracker was turned off. I knew that she would never turn it off unless she was trying to hide something from me. I felt like I had to investigate. I followed Lisa and her boyfriend to a restaurant and watched them from a distance. They were laughing and chatting, and I felt sick to my stomach. I knew that I had to get closer to them to make sure that they were both safe. I approached their table and Lisa looked up at me in shock. Her boyfriend asked me who I was and what I was doing there. I felt my heart pounding in my chest. I knew that I had to say something, anything to keep them both safe. I told Lisa's boyfriend that I was a friend of hers, that I was just worried about her safety, and that I wanted to make sure that she was okay. He looked at me skeptically, but Lisa vouched for me. She said that I was just being overprotective, and that there was nothing to worry about. But as Lisa's new relationship continued to blossom, I started to get even more jealous and possessive. I would watch her from a distance, hoping to catch her with someone else. I even started to follow her to work, just to make sure that she wasn't meeting anyone there. Looking back, I know that my behavior was irrational and dangerous. I thought that I was just being protective of Lisa, but in reality, I was just trying to control her every move. I needed to learn how to trust her and give her the space she deserved if I wanted to salvage our relationship. But by the time I realized that, it was already too late. One day, I was checking Lisa's GPS tracker as usual when I noticed something strange. Her location was heading to a desolate area with broken down warehouses. I felt a surge of jealousy and fear. I had to know what was going on. I decided to follow Lisa's tracker and drove to the location. When I got there, I saw Lisa's tracker moving fast, and I knew that something was wrong. I started to panic, but I couldn't just leave her there. I had to do something. I parked my car and got out. I saw a group of men standing around a cargo ship. They were loading crates onto the ship, and I could hear women's voices screaming from inside the crates. I realized that Lisa had been kidnapped along with 5 other women. I felt a surge of anger and fear. I knew that I had to do something to save them. I called the police with an anonymous tip and told them what I had seen. I knew that they would be able to handle the situation better than I could. The police arrived within minutes and started to surround the area. I stayed back, watching from a distance, hoping that Lisa was okay. I felt like I had to do something to help her, but I didn't know what to do. After what seemed like hours, the police emerged from the cargo ship with Lisa and the other women. They were all traumatized and shaken up, but they were alive. I felt like I had saved their lives. But as the police started to investigate, they found out that I had been tracking Lisa's every move. They questioned me about it, and I had to explain what I had done. I felt ashamed and embarrassed, but I knew that I had to tell the truth. When Lisa found out what I had done, she was furious. She couldn't believe that I had been tracking her every move, and she felt like I had violated her privacy. I tried to explain that I had only done it to protect her, but she didn't want to hear it. She told me that she never wanted to see me again and that she never wanted to talk to me again. I felt like I had lost everything. I had lost Lisa, and I had lost the trust of everyone around me. I knew that what I had done was wrong, but I couldn't help myself. I was addicted to the control that came with tracking her every move. Looking back, I know that my behavior was dangerous and creepy. I thought that I was just trying to protect Lisa, but in reality, I was just trying to control her every move. I needed to learn how to trust her and give her the space she deserved if I ever wanted to have a healthy relationship again. After the incident at the cargo ship, I was a wreck. I had lost Lisa, and I had lost the trust of everyone around me. I knew that what I had done was wrong, but I couldn't help myself. I was addicted to the control that came with tracking her every move. But as time went on, I started to realize the gravity of what I had done. I had violated Lisa's privacy and trust, and I had put her in danger by tracking her every move. I knew that I needed to change if I ever wanted to have a healthy relationship again. I started seeing a therapist and joined a support group for people with possessive and controlling tendencies. I wanted to understand why I felt the need to control Lisa's every move and how I could change my behavior. At first, it was difficult. I felt ashamed and embarrassed about what I had done. But as time went on, I started to see progress. I learned how to trust Lisa and give her the space she deserved. I also learned how to communicate my feelings in a healthy way without resorting to possessiveness and control. Eventually, I reached out to Lisa and apologized for what I had done. I told her that I had started seeing a therapist and that I was working on my issues. I knew that she might never forgive me, but I wanted to make amends and show her that I had changed. To my surprise, Lisa responded positively. She told me that she was glad that I was seeking help and that she appreciated my efforts to change. She even agreed to meet with me and talk about our relationship. It wasn't easy, but over time, Lisa and I were able to build a healthy relationship based on trust and mutual respect. We were able to move past the hurt and pain of the past and focus on building a future together. Looking back, I know that what I did was wrong. But I also know that I was able to learn from my mistakes and make positive changes in my life. I hope that my story can serve as a cautionary tale for others who may be struggling with possessiveness and control in their relationships. With the right help and support, it is possible to change and build healthy, fulfilling relationships based on trust and respect.